So we got a brand new and very intriguing story trailer for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis that not only shows us some quick peeks at some new alternate outfits, but sets up the story of young Sephiroth. And stick with me here because I have some theories on what's going down in Ever Crisis and how it could potentially affect the entire Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy moving forward. And we have news in regards to Rebirth pre-orders. So if you like what you hear, feel free to click the like button, subscribe, and smack the bell icon with an octaslash to stay up to date with news in regards to Final Fantasy. And make sure to stick around because as we get closer to this year's Tokyo Game Show, I'll be doing a final check-in video where I'll go over in detail what I expect and hope to see from Rebirth at this year's event. So you won't want to miss that. So starting off with that Rebirth pre-order news, this was being reported by pretty much everyone and their mom last night, but we're pulling from Wario64, and that is on Best Buy's website. Pre-orders have officially gone live for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is incredibly exciting to me because this signifies, in my opinion, that Square has in fact locked down a firm release date for the game, and they should be announcing that at this year's Tokyo Game Show, which is great. And we'll get to more TGS stuff towards the latter half of the video, so stay around for that. But one word of caution, my experience with pre-ordering physical games at Best Buy's website has been really inconsistent. I pre-ordered Resident Evil 4 Remake a couple of months in advance of the game's release, and I got it the day it came out. But with Final Fantasy XVI, I pre-ordered that about a month in advance, and I got the game a week after it came out. I also had issues with Final Fantasy VII Remake's Deluxe Edition through Amazon. That was delayed about a week or two if I remember correctly, so it's kind of wishy-washy. If you're gonna get a physical copy of this game, you're probably better off just pre-ordering in-store at a Best Buy or at a Walmart or a Target or a GameStop or whatever, just to ensure that you get access to the game the day it comes out, assuming you aren't going to grab it digitally. So just wanted to give you a heads up. Be careful where you pre-order. So starting off with some of those cool new costumes for Ever Crisis, we see Aerith wearing what looks to be a cleric type costume that's white and pink. It almost reminds me of something out of the earlier Final Fantasy games. We also catch a glimpse of Barrett wearing some crazy looking getup with red armor and goggles. Tifa gets a rather fancy looking white getup as well that almost looks like a super battle ready wedding dress. But the coolest outfit so far belongs to Zack. He's wearing this crazy looking futuristic cybernetic knight armor complete with a cape. It looks absolutely fantastic. But the thing I want to focus on here is Sephiroth. The tagline they've been using for this young Sephiroth story is, "We still don't know Sephiroth," which, when you sit down and think about it, is absolutely nuts. This is a character who's been with us for over 20 years. He's an iconic villain that even non-Final Fantasy fans know of and respect. Yet, we still know very little about his early life as he worked his way up the ranks in Shinra as a soldier. We've seen brief moments of the war hero Sephiroth in games like Crisis Core, but it's not focused on too heavily. The Sephiroth we know is cold, cruel, and wants to see the world burn. But in this trailer, we see his younger version show genuine emotion and concern. He wants to protect people and has their best interest in mind. A Sephiroth that wants to and believes that he can save everyone. I think getting to explore a genuine and potentially naive Sephiroth is going to add so much more to his character and make us see him in a slightly different light. To a degree. Of course. Some things are unforgivable, man. But I also can't help but ask the question, will Ever Crisis impact the remake trilogy going forward? In the opening of the trailer, we see Sephiroth descending from the sky as white feathers fall to the ground. We saw similar feathers in the original Rebirth announcement trailer, and they've also been tied to characters like Angeal and even Safer Sephiroth. Sephiroth would eventually get a black wing later on in Advent Children and the Kingdom Hearts games. I know in Western stories, one-winged beings are usually symbolisms that refer to fallen angels, or in this case, a hero who would eventually become the villain. So it could just be a motif that they like using for the character. But could Sephiroth's origin be incorporated in Rebirth and Part 3? I've said many times before that his origin story is too important to have solely in a mobile game, and it should be presented on consoles in the main Final Fantasy series. Perhaps that's something we could eventually see. It also seems plausible based on Sephiroth's last line in the trailer. Now let us begin a new journey. Cloud. It's either a reference to the main Ever Crisis tagline of another possibility of a remake, with Ever Crisis being a one-off self-contained story that takes place in the original Final Fantasy VII timeline, or stick with me here, the theories of the Sephiroth we see in Remake being a post-Advent children Sephiroth who has gone meta and found a way to time travel to different timelines and realities to mess with destiny could be coming to fruition. A Sephiroth that likes messing with Cloud so much that he even followed him into Super Smash Bros. To bully him. The man is an absolute menace. If that's the case, then seeing more of young Sephiroth's backstory could be fleshed out even more in Rebirth and Beyond. Either I'm looking too much into this, or Square's about to surprise us with Rebirth's story. And in one last note, Tokyo Game Show is a few short weeks away, and Square Enix usually announces their lineup for the event during the first week of September. So here's hoping we get a brand new Rebirth trailer that could shed some light on Sephiroth's involvement and ultimate goal in the remake trilogy. With that being said, that is the video. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think so far of this young Sephiroth story in Ever Crisis? And do you think there's a possibility that Rebirth and Part 3 will explore Sephiroth's backstory in some capacity? Before you head out, make sure to check out some of my recent videos where we looked over some of the other really interesting alternate outfits that the characters are going to be wearing in Ever Crisis. And also check out my video about the incredible music in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I am Curious Corduroy. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.